one more thing we're going to do on this series is do some more neck work. The neck is really an important piece to relax. There's so much tension that's carried in the neck. I also think that people who tend to be a little bit more rigid in even their belief structures will carry a more rigid neck. It may sound kind of unusual, but I've noticed that the more closed-minded a person's mind tends to be, or stuck in a certain perspective about the way things are or aren't, without the willingness to open up to maybe new ideas, the neck has a lot of problems moving around. There's a lot of holding in the neck and not letting it go. Esoterically, the neck oftentimes relates to feeling at risk. There's little sayings that we have like, I've got my neck out on the chopping block, or I really got my neck out there. So it tends to relate to a feeling of risk. So by remaining solid in a belief structure or a way of being, one would probably feel at risk to move outside of that comfort zone. Now here, of course, I'm doing just a little lymph work, checking the nodes. And now we're going to pull, and possibly you can see my hand underneath there, stretching upward. And then it's a natural kind of rotation when you get to the top. I'm doing the same thing on the other side. Okay, and then lifting it up and allowing for the rotation. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in the neck for head rotation. There's a lot of direct and indirect connections with all sorts of things up in the shoulders, the throat. And then let the head come back and forward. Always be careful when you move the head back. I support it and have my fingers under for the cranial base release to support the head. But let the head support on the backs of the hands. And then with the neck going to the side, again, you want to be very careful with the front of the neck. And I need to get a little bit of oil on for this. If it's not quite slippery enough, it feels like you're tearing their skin out. And if you have too much oil on, you feel like you're going to slip all over the place. We have scalene muscles in there. We have the back of the trapezius muscle, the upper part of the trapezius muscle towards the back of the neck, I should say. We have the levator scapula muscle. We have the sternocleidomastoid muscle. Those are the more superficial ones. And there's small muscles around the hyoid bone, which the hyoid bone is a little floating bone in the neck. Protects the trachea. For those of you that want to do this with your friends or family or partners, it's a good idea just to look at an anatomy book. Look at how the muscles run and just visualize that as you work. Visualize how the muscles are, and then let your hands talk to them as you go. And be careful. Careful of depth and pressure when you're dealing with the neck. the other side. Same type of thing here. And again, I'm getting all the way up to the skull. The origins and insertions. To the best of the ability of being able to palpate them. And that really is the difference between a good massage and an average massage, is the thoroughness that one feels at the end of it. And here I'm just going to have my fingers in along that back of the spine, the cervical vertebrae, and just allowing the muscles to relax as my fingers slide up that part of the spine. And we're going to turn the head this way. That way. Now, if a person's neck is stiff or they're resisting or holding it, don't fight it. Just take it as far as it'll go. And keep the feeling that they can start to trust, that their head isn't going to plop on the table or something. And eventually, working with the person after time, their neck will open up. Sometimes there's things that happen to a neck. People have broken their necks, or they have plates in their neck, or they have different things like that. So there's a restriction on range of motion. So be sensitive to that. Let the neck move to where it wants to move and not where you think it needs to move. That's another key on respecting the body and giving it what it needs. It is what it is. There's no right or wrong. It's just what you have to work with within a person. And it will give you the same benefits no matter how far the range of motion might go. I'm giving her a cranial base release right now. And then just to check the hyoid bone. And a little bit of palpation, just very lightly, over the trachea, esophagus area. And there we are. Neck massage. Thank you for watching. This is Athena Jezik.